As you probably know by now, I absolutely love pinball. I enjoy playing the games, sharing them with others. As you can see behind me, I've kind of gone insane. I have plenty of games. But one thing I really love to do is to help other companies build new games and get those out the door to customers. As many of you probably don't know, I do run a small company here in Austin, Texas that is sort of an R&D and engineering house for other manufacturers. We've helped such manufacturers as Valley Dynamo with their line of air hockey tables, Multimorphic, American Pinball, Spooky Pinball, and the latest, of course, is Suncoast Pinball with their game right here, Cosmic Carnival. We're helping them out mostly with the software and systems engineering side of things, and we're working with their in-house programmers really to bring this game to life. So my goal in this video, and potentially future videos, is to show you a little bit about what happens during the design cycle, some of the things that we might work on, and some of the things that you might see me talk about at trade shows and different things like that. So let's get started. Cosmic Carnival is the first game by Suncoast Pinball. Suncoast Pinball is based in Largo, Florida, and they started out as Suncoast Arcades, and they made primarily tabletop arcade games for the last several years. And one day their owner, John Weaver, had tinkered around with the idea of designing his own pinball game, and he had actually done that and really wanted to come out with a layout that was somewhat easier to manufacture, but also approachable by the masses. So that's actually where Cosmic Carnival was born. As opposed to other carnival-type pinball games, this one has a little bit of a darker feel. Artwork was done by Dirty Donnie, who you probably recognize the artwork from games like Metallica and Aerosmith. So it has a little bit of a darker feel, but there's a very splashy appearance in the artwork. And we wanted that to carry over to the video assets as well. The music tracks were actually done by Bart Hendrickson and Theo Green. And we've actually had quite a bit of fun trying to figure out how to integrate the music tracks into the theme and coming up with the right soundtracks for it. The game features nearly 60 RGB LEDs that do full fades, full color, a lot of integration with the software. We do have a couple of mechanical things that we can play with. We have a scoop right in the center, which is actually a very dangerous shot. It's a very high power shot. We have an inner lane, which is a very screaming shot. It definitely returns the ball to the opposite flipper very rapidly. And then on the symmetrical side, we have ramps in the back, and we also have a set of stand-up targets on the left and a set of drop targets on the right. The drop targets on the right, if you knock them down, reveal a return lane, which actually goes to the shooter lane, which can then be plunged back up into the pop bumpers. The whole story behind the game is the fact that you're battling for control over the Cosmic Carnival. The carnival is supposed to be the largest, most grand carnival in all the galaxy, and you really want control over it. And basically the battle is between the Cosmic Clown, which is represented on the left side of the playfield, and the Ringmaster, which is represented on the right. Now, completing different modes awards a tally for one or the other. So as you can see, at the center of the playfield, we have tally marks on both the left and the right, numbered 1 through 5. So as you complete modes, that actually advances the tally mark to the next number. And of course, in order to win control over the carnival, you have to complete all the modes and advance to the final wizard mode. So I met John at Free Play Florida in 2018, which is roughly November, and I talked to him and his team and was very enthusiastic about the things they were doing, and they informed me that, even though the game was very early, they had large ambitions for the game. And with that said, I really didn't, see the game and the new artwork and everything like that until Texas Pinball Festival. So I walked up and talked to John at Texas Pinball Festival, and it was really an interesting thing to see how far the game had come. It had all this gorgeous artwork on it. They really had put a lot of time into the game and really getting it ready for Texas. And it was about after Texas Pinball Festival where John said, hey, would you be interested in helping us out with the game? And obviously I could not say yes quickly enough. And what they did is they freighted this game here. I'm actually in Austin, Texas. They're in Largo, Florida. So they freighted this game here, and me and my friend Brandon, we got this set up very quickly. I spent roughly 3 days, rewiring the system, getting everything up to speed so that I could really dive in and get things going as soon as possible with this game. We were all very excited to get it going, and that's sort of how it all began. And now what we're doing is, we're sending code back and forth really every single day, testing new ideas, seeing what works, what doesn't work, because what we actually have is the rule sheet. So oftentimes the games will start with a rule sheet, and what you do is you say, okay, well, do these shots work? Is it too hard? Is it too easy? Is the game progressing well? Is there something for the novice player, or is there something for the really hard player? And does the game sort of progress no matter which one you are? And in reality, you can't really find that stuff out until you get the game playing, until you flip the game. So you spend hours and hours programming it, sending code over, figuring out what works, what doesn't work, and then testing things back and forth. And that's roughly the design cycle that we have. All right, so today we're going to be taking a look at some of the music in Cosmic Carnival. Now, the music in Cosmic Carnival is different than you might expect in most Carnival games, because the artwork, as you've noticed from Dirty Donnie, has a little bit more of a darker and warped feel, and the music actually reflects that. So in this game, you're going to find a lot more drum and guitar-driven music compared to, sort of the happy-go-lucky circus type music that you might be kind of expect from some of the other Carnival games that have been done, at least in Pinball. Now, the tracks on these recordings were recorded by Theo Green and Bart Hendrickson. And what we're doing here is we're sampling around with different ideas to try to break up the monotony. And that actually allows us to iterate a lot more quickly, because we can get some ideas together using just a little bit of recording equipment here. And by the time we come up with something we like, we can actually share those ideas with the creative guys, again, like Bart and Theo, to record the tracks in high def and sort of kind of get a feel for what we want. This guitar is actually in E tuning, whereas the original tracks were recorded in drop A, which is a very dark tuning. It's it's quite a ways down from where standard tuning is on a guitar. So we will actually play this in A, but that will actually allow us to overlay some more harmonics and stuff like that that'll stand out a little bit more from the mix compared to if we were actually tuned all the way down. So we'll actually play this little loop right here. And you'll notice that it's a very hard pumping loop, and really and truly, if we just left that going for 3 minutes or for the 30 seconds or whatever that you needed to complete or start a mode, it'd get a little monotonous. That might actually be okay for a short period of time, but what we'll do is layer stuff on top of it. So a lot of times we'll add in a little bit of guitar texture to sort of break up that monotony, and we can do that with a little bit of harmonics. So if we overlay something like on top of the track, it'll help break up that monotony. So let's give it a shot. That's pretty good for when you're kind of trying to start a mode. You need to hit one shot. There's one thing left. So we might play that 3 or 4 times, but then we might layer on something else on top of it to try to again build up that tension. So we can kind of do a little bit of a scale walk up and see how that'll actually come out. Cool, so we could actually sequence those together and again, sort of break up that monotony. Now, if we wanted to do a little bit of homage to, some other hard rock and pinball music, we might actually have something that is a little more chord-based. As you noticed, I was kind of playing on, just, kind of muted and just a couple of different strings. But now if we actually start doing chords, you can really, really expand the music. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. We're able to do some things that players might expect, but we could also do things that players don't expect. We could actually incorporate different musical genres into this loop because again, it's just a drum and a bass loop. Now, the owner of the company likes country, so he did not in any way ask me to do this, but you can actually kind of create Easter eggs and sort of homages with the music. You can actually stay creative in the music, in the sound effects, in the video, in the artwork, etc. You can kind of have Easter eggs in all of them if you wanted to. So if he really likes country music, we could kind of do a chicken picking thing. Yeah, so it really allows you to kind of stay creative, and this kind of setup allows us to quickly iterate between musical ideas. I can send them back and forth, and once we kind of finalize what we want, we send it on to the really good guys, and we get that all mixed down for you. But that's sort of a sneak peek of how we handle the music in Pinball. We do this a bunch of different times. Usually try to do one track per mode, plus an outro for when the game ends, and plus sort of a shooter tune for whenever the game is kind of waiting to spin up. So yeah, hopefully this is sort of an insight into what we do.